Okay guys, we have a prism here, and let's take a look at this next problem. We're asked to find the volume still, so let's just write that formula down for prisms. The volume is equivalent to capital B for the area of the base shape times h, and this h represents the height of the 3D object. But let's figure out what the base is. I want you to take notice that it's laying, this object is laying on one of its sidewalls, and that sidewall is a rectangle. So we've got to make sure that we note the rectangle is not the base in this case. So what is the base? Well, it's this triangle here. Well, how can I guarantee or verify that? Let's take a look at this triangle and look now directly to the figure opposite of it. There's another triangle there, and I'm going to highlight it just in case you're not seeing it. So this triangle here is directly in line with this triangle. Let's change color so we can see the one that's up front. This triangle here, they're directly in line of one another. That means that they are parallel to one another. So they're also congruent as well. So since they are parallel to one another, since they're congruent, you know, same size, same shape, they have to be the base shapes of this prism. Therefore, when we go to write down the area of the base shape, we've got to make sure that we use the formula for the area of a triangle. Let's write down the area of a triangle right below B. The area of a actually, I'm going to write that down over here first. So the area of a triangle, it's equal to half times the base times the height. Another formula you could use is the area is equal to base times height over 2. We used this formula in a previous video, so let's go ahead and use this formula above. Half times the base times the height. I'm going to plug that in below, or I'm going to substitute it in for this capital B. Capital B represents the area of the base shape. The base shape is a triangle. So I'm going to mark down that we're going to multiply half times, I'm putting a little b in for the base of the triangle, times a little h. Now this little h is different from the little h above. This little h represents the height of the triangle here. The h above that's in black represents the height of the 3D figure. So be careful when you're substituting values in for this first little h and values in for the second little h. In fact, when I write this second h below, I'm just going to change color so we know there's a difference. So the height of the triangle multiplied by the height of the 3D object. Alright, I'm going to substitute everything in using a black pen here. So let's go ahead and just rewrite. We're going to multiply half times, and I'm going to use parentheses for multiplication, half times the base of the triangle, which happens to be 6.5 feet here, so I'm going to write 6.5 times the height of the triangle, which is 7 feet, so we'll plug in 7 here, times the height of the 3D object, and that height, well, it's laying on its sidewall right now, but that height should be 6 feet. So now let's multiply by 6 feet. Cool, so I have multiplication as my only operation here. I'm going to multiply all these values together, and I can do it one of a few ways. But one way I can do it is multiplying straight through from left to right. There's an additional way that I could do it. It's using the commutative property, which means I would move numbers around, and the reason I can do this is because I'm using multiplication only. So I'm going to do it both ways to show you that we can and just see what values we get. So let's just create a dividing wall here. I'm going to create just a little bit more room on the screen. And from here, I'm just going to rewrite these values. I'm going to reorder them using the commutative property. I know that 1/2 of 6 is easy to find. So I'm going to multiply 1/2 times 6. And then we'll multiply that value times 7, and I'm going to save the decimal for last. We'll multiply by 6.5 last. Cool. So let's work through this problem first. Alright, from here, actually I said I could multiply straight through from left to right, but I'm actually going to just group values together using the associative property. I'm going to take half of 6.5 and 7 times 6, and let's just figure out what that is real quick. So half of 6.5, that will give us 3.25, Let's put that in parentheses. And 7 times 6 gives us a value of 42. Cool. From here, I can multiply 3.25 and 42 together to get 136.5. Now let's go ahead from here, plug in that V below. I'm going to put a capital V in for volume. Volume is equivalent to 136.5, don't forget your units, feet. In this situation, since we're finding the volume, it's feet cubed. Now let's go over to this other side. I'm going to change pens to blue, and let's just take half of 6 real quick. Half of 6 is easy to calculate. It gives us a value of 3. We're going to multiply that by 7, and then multiply by 6.5. So now we're going to multiply 3 times 7. So 3 times 7 gives us a value of 21, and we're going to multiply 21 times 6.5 above. So times 6.5, and let's just fix that decimal real quick. So when we calculate this, we get the volume is equivalent to 136.5. Our units are feet cubed. And that should be a 3 right here. Cool. So now we can box this information up and we're finished. So either way that you calculate this problem, you should come to the same answer as long as you're running through the calculation correctly. There's a few ways you can calculate this problem. You can multiply straight through from left to right. You can use the associative property by grouping numbers as we did in this problem, or you can use the commutative property and reorder values around. Cool stuff. I'll see you in another video, guys.